Welcome everyone to the LEAD26 Know Before You Attend webinar session. I can't believe it. We've made it to our final webinar session for this LEAD series. So again, as always, just a disclaimer, I will be recording this session and sending out a link to the recording and any materials later today. And throughout the webinar sessions, AI tools may have been used. So believe it or not, we are only 12 days away from LEAD. Get excited. Maybe give a little reaction in the chats. I can't wait to see all of you guys. It's going to be real fun. And I see a large number of us are going to PDT as well. So the fun will continue. All right, so today I'm just going to kind of go over, this is a brief overview of the agenda, just talking about all things LEAD. There will be time for a Q&A, and then I've also added a very small portion at the end to just go over a few questions I've seen about attendees who are going to both LEAD and PDT. So if you guys have questions at any point throughout the presentation, please feel free to use the raise your hand feature or in the chat, and I will be sure to answer them. All right. So starting off with what to expect. All right, so inspiration, energy, and a whole lot of fun. If you have been to the LEAD before, you know that the room, you can just feel the energy in there, and it's really, really great. Some other things to expect on top of that is meaningful connections with chapter leaders and with AGA National, whether that be staff or national governing board members. We're really hoping that you guys feel like you're building some meaningful connections with them and can use them as a resource or a collaboration throughout the program year. We are going to present several interactive general and breakout sessions, as well as dedicated time to work with chapter leaders in your area. So we've been focusing a lot on areas through the webinar series, and you'll see that as well as we go into LEAD. And then, of course, we're going to give you guys some ideas and tools to take back to your chapter. So please be thinking about how it is that you are going to share all of these resources with your current CEC upon, the end of LEAD. All right, so just a little overview of the chapter leadership representation here. I won't read it all for you, but we've got a very big mix of different chapter leader roles that will be attending LEAD. So 39 out of the 108 attendees did indicate they are serving on multiple CEC roles, but no one was serving on more than 2, I believe. All right, and a LEAD checklist, if you will. So for things for you to know, the attire is business casual, excuse me. On Monday, it's optional, but we would love for you to participate, to wear your area's color. And there will be plenty of signage there for your area's color, and I'll attach the area map in my follow-up email in case you don't know what it is. We're also asking you to bring your chapter citizen-centric report information for pages 2 and 4. So if you were, I see in the chat, no audio. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm not sure what happened there, Paulette. A few sessions ago, we had 2 sessions actually on chapter citizen-centric reports, and we asked that LEAD attendees bring information for pages 2 and 4, because we're going to discuss those throughout LEAD. Again, we are not asking for complete, graphic design pages of 2 and 4. We're really just looking for some content there. Things that you've done in your program year and things you expect to do in the upcoming program year. Optional again, after that, a notebook device for taking notes. Then please make sure you review this presentation because it's going to have a lot of information about travel, hotel, and transportation. And then, of course, come ready to connect and collaborate with others. Before I move on to the next slide, I just want to see, does anyone have any questions about the citizen-centric report information? All right. If you have a question after this call, feel free to email me and I will answer that for you. All right, so now we're moving on to our LEAD agenda. Just going to give you a brief overview here. So everyone should be arriving in Arlington on Saturday, July 18th. So that way everyone's up and ready for the sessions to begin on Sunday, July 19th. So we will start off with a welcome and overview in which you will hear from Melinda DePort, AGA's national president for the 26-27 program year. And then we're going to jump right into meeting with your area directors. And again, you're going to be going over that chapter CCR information with them. So please make sure that you have that handy. From there, we'll have a few different sessions on membership. There's going to be quite a few membership sessions. So just know that it's going to cover a lot of different topics that you guys have been asking for. So we'll have our first membership session. Then we'll also have a session on partnerships. Then will be followed by a welcome message from AGA's president-elect, Sarah Cunningham, as well as a brief overview of the citizen-centric reports again. So that's the first half of Sunday. And then the second half of Sunday, we are going to do breakout sessions. And those breakout sessions are going to be hosted by AGA national staff. So they're going to cover topics such as membership, CGFM, the art of the ask, and marketing and communications. Some of you might be wondering what the art of the ask is, right? An important part of being a chapter leader is just really being able to tell your story. Why do you love AGA? Why do you keep coming back? Why are you volunteering, to be a chapter leader, and explaining that to other people? And whether that's for, having partnerships, gaining new members, retaining members, things like that. And then in the marketing and communications breakout session, there will be a little bit of focus on the chapter websites. So you will be up and moving. Everyone is going to attend all 4 of those sessions. And then we'll close out the day on Sunday. Again, you'll close out by meeting with your area directors, and I'll give you a few updates for the next day. Questions about Sunday? I see one in the chat from Jennifer. Do you happen to have this presentation available in a handout? I do. I will email that to you after today's session. All right. Lunch and breaks will be provided on Sunday, but one thing to note is that dinner will be on your own. All right, then moving into Monday. Monday is a half day of sessions. So we're going to start off the day with the chapter awards ceremony. Some of you might know this as the PDT awards ceremony because PDT was shortened. This year, we are going to be having that awards ceremony at LEAD. So I think that's very exciting stuff. So prepare yourself to be attending that at 8:30. Please note that some attendees, LEAD attendees, may have to pick up an award for their chapter. And I will reach out to you personally to let you know if you are one of those attendees. Then after that, we're going to hear from the Transformation Task Force to tell us a little bit about what they are working on. The Transformation Task Force is made up of the National Governing Board members at AGA. And then followed by a membership session, or the final membership session, as well as a sponsorships session, in which we will have guest speakers for the sponsorship session. You can ask a Q&A type style there. And again, just like Sunday, we're going to close out the day meeting with your area directors. You're going to talk a little bit more about that CCR information, but we really want you to think about final takeaways and closing thoughts, right? How from LEAD. What are things that you found to be super interesting that you want to take back to your chapter? And also, how are you going to share that information with your CEC? And then the day will wrap up with some closing remarks from me and the president-elect, Sarah Cumming. All right. So on Monday, there will be breaks provided. There will be breakfast provided. However, after 12 p.m., you're on your own. So there will be no lunch provided there. All right. I see some questions. Kelly, sorry, I might have missed it. Is this taking place in the same hotel we are staying at? So the answer, Kelly, is yes and no. It's a little complicated. The hotel that everyone will be staying at is going to be called the Renaissance Arlington Capitol View Hotel. Connected to that hotel is the Residence Inn Hotel. So some of the sessions are going to be in the Residence Inn and some are going to be in the Renaissance. However, we'll have plenty of signage for you to know, which one you're going to. We'll have maps, printed maps available for you as well. And they are connected so you don't have to go outside or anything like that. Does that answer your question, Kelly? Awesome. Okay. All right. Breakfast on Monday is going to be from 7:30 to 8:30, Lindsay. Good question. Any other questions? Like what I'm saying? Oops, went too fast. All right. So moving on, meals provided, like I said, on Sunday, there will be breakfast, lunch, as well as breaks. Some of those will be coffee breaks. And on Monday, we'll have breakfast as well as some breaks there. So please note that meal substitutions may not be possible. If you are someone who listed a food allergy or a dietary restriction, you will likely be given a vegetarian or gluten-free meal. And if you have a severe food allergy or a specific dietary restriction that sometimes, might not work out, please plan some alternate meals there. All right, so now moving on to the travel and hotel information portion of today's session. So again, starting off, where is LEAD? It's at the Renaissance Arlington Capitol View Hotel. That is where everyone is going to be staying. I've linked the hotel website here. And then here they have this great page called Navigate Your Stay. And it has all sorts of information, whether that be about check-in, things to do around, transportation, etc. So I would highly recommend you checking that out. All right, I see one question in the chat. What is the dress attire? It is going to be business casual. All right, so for the Renaissance Hotel reservations, AGA has booked all of your hotel reservations. Okay, that has already happened, and a confirmation email was sent directly from the hotel to the email that you provided on June 25th. So again, you should have already received your confirmation email for the Renaissance Hotel. If you have not received it, I highly suggest checking your spam junk folder. And then if you still can't find it, of course, let me know. We're here to help. So a couple things for check-in, you will be asked to provide a credit card for incidental charges or expenses not covered by AGA. So for example, if you just had to get room service one night, that's going to be charged to the credit card that you put on file. However, if you do not put any additional charges, you shouldn't get charged at all. And then if you have any special requests, such as extra towels or other in-room amenities, please contact the hotel directly or make your request at check-in. We at AGA have done everything we can to meet the request that you submitted. So from this point forward, we do ask that you contact the hotel. Questions about the hotel reservations?
Is there a shuttle to the airport?
That's coming. You've read my mind. In about 3 slides, you will see that information. And the answer is yes. Oh, okay. Oh, let me keep it a secret.
How much is the shuttle?
It is free.
Okay.
All right. Great question, by the way. Thank you, Jennifer. So if you have chosen to extend your stay, any additional nights are going to be at your own expense and will be charged the credit card provided at check-in. And if you have planned to extend your stay, you should have already requested approval from AGA. I just wanted to reiterate that those additional nights will be charged the credit card provided. All right. So going back to the question that Jennifer asked about transportation. So DCA is the Ronald Reagan Airport. And we're talking about going from the airport to the hotel. So they're about a mile apart, and the hotel offers a complimentary airport and local area shuttles. So a lot of information there about where it can pick you up and different times that it can pick you up. There's also different metro stations that the shuttle will pick you up from as well. I've also linked to their website where you can find more information about the complimentary shuttles. I believe almost everyone will be flying into DCA, so should be no issue there at all. Questions on that? All right. Okay. So hotel check-in at the Renaissance, that is going to be at 4 p.m. and then checkout is going to be at 12 p.m. So note that AGA has requested early check-in and late checkout for all of our attendees, but that really is subject to availability and cannot be guaranteed. Now, if you are someone who put on your form that you are driving, AGA will cover the parking cost for those attendees. And there will be a voucher that will be provided before you leave to cover those parking expenses. And if needed, you may ask the front desk to store your luggage if you get there early and you want to go out and about and travel. All right, I see one question. Renee Rollins asked, if driving, is there a mileage reimbursement form? There is a mileage reimbursement form, and I will send that to the attendees who indicated that they will be driving after LEAD, and then you'll get those reimbursements then. I will be sending out this presentation after. And Jamie, I believe there is a parking garage at the hotel in which you are going to be parking in. All right. One more question. Raylan said, will there be an evening trip on Sunday evening? There will not be an evening trip on Sunday evening. However, the hotel is located in Arlington. There is a lot to do in the area. And if you want to make your way over to DC, that's about a 10-minute drive, and there's a lot to do there as well. So we are very confident there is going to be a little bit of something for everyone on the evening, on Sunday evening. Great questions. All right, so as we know, things change, right? If your plans do change and you need to cancel, please email me as soon as possible. However, there are a few things that I just want to reiterate that we had talked about previously. If you do have to cancel, and your flight was purchased through Avenue Travel, you will be responsible for reimbursing AGA for the cost of your ticket. Excuse me. Okay. And if you decide to cancel on or after July 16th, which is next Thursday, you will also be responsible for reimbursing AGA $136 for the hotel cancellation fees. And lastly, if you need to leave before the event concludes, which is going to be 12 p.m. on Monday, you must notify AGA national staff by July 19th. Any questions here? Crystal, I will get to that in a few slides.
I have a flight, my flight reservation. I'm gonna have to leave before 12 on Monday, um,
Oh,
to be checked in at the airport for the flight to Atlanta. Um,
okay. I will note that in our records. Thank you for letting me know. Oh, oh, something happened there. Yes, Jennifer, sorry.
do I just notify you or who else has to be notified?
Yes, you've notified me, and that's good, and I'll put it down in our records, and you're good to go
Okay.
there.
Okay.
All right. Here I will, these are just links that the Renaissance Hotel has, talks about local attractions, hotel restaurants, and bars. I'll also add to this the navigate your stay link as well as the shuttle link. All right. So we are asking if you have 3 minutes. We would love for you guys to help us out with shaping some of the conversations at LEAD. So, for quite a few of our sessions, we are having guest speakers come in, and we really want to ensure that the speakers, address what matters most to you. So, we'd like to collect some questions and discussions topics. So, let's see. If you have 3 questions, I have put that survey in each, or sorry, if you have 3 minutes, I have put that survey into the chat, and I will send those answers directly to the speakers who will address them during their sessions. I'll also add that link in my follow-up email as well. All right, so just kind of before you go, a list of things, complete the survey that I just sent in the chat. Again, it's really, really going to help us in terms of making sure we're addressing the specifics that you would like to hear about. Of course, visit the LEAD 2026 page if you have not already. There's going to be conference resources there as well as live updates. And then if you have any questions at all about LEAD, feel free to contact me, and my contact information is there. I will also be sending out sometime next week kind of a quick reference guide that will have links to everything on one page. So hopefully it will be easy for you to just save that and look back at it throughout LEAD as needed. All right. So that is all I have in regards to LEAD specifically. So I want to open the floor to anyone that might have questions about LEAD. If you have questions about LEAD and PDT, we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. Does anyone have any questions about LEAD specifically? The LEAD 2026 page is located in chapter resources. So under administrative items. And I'll put it in the chat here for you. Oops, great question. Oops, not the other question we have. What are the expenses we should plan to get reimbursed that AGA will not pay for? If there were expenses that AGA is not going to be paying for, that is going to be things like the dinner meal on Sunday. That would be one. The transportation. So, for example, if you decide to take an Uber from the airport to the hotel, instead of using the shuttle, that would be an expense that you would need to ask your chapter to reimburse you for. And honestly, that's really most of the things I can think about. If you decide to go out and do night activities, of course, that would be at your own expense, but most meals and things are paid for. Does that help, Lindsay? Okay, great. Yes, Crystal, there is an agenda for lead. We are working on fine-tuning just a few additional things. So I will send that out to you next week on that quick reference guide. The agenda will be there. Of course. Any additional questions? All right. So if you are attending both lead and PDT, a few things for you here. So, traveling to your PDT hotel, AGA will not provide transportation from lead to PDT hotels. So, we recommend using the Metro or a rideshare service. So, actually, Lindsay, you just asked, is there any expense that you might need to get reimbursed from your chapter? This would be one of them. If you are going from lead to PDT and you decide to take an Uber or something like that, that would be your own expense that I would ask chapter leadership to cover. Okay. So for PDT, some people are staying at the Grand Hyatt and some people are staying at the Westin. Regardless of which hotel you're staying at, it's about a 15-minute drive from the Renaissance Arlington Capitol View. Okay. I've listed here some metro options if you would like to go that path, as well as a link to the Metro Trip Planner. If you've never used the Metro before or not familiar with it, that is very helpful. Alternatively, a rideshare service is something that we recommend. PDT arrival information. So you're going to review your PDT hotel reservation to know your assigned hotel and check-in date. If you arrive before check-in, the hotel can store your luggage for you if needed. And if you would like, this is optional. We are offering early PDT badge pickup on Monday at 5 p.m. at the convention center. So it could be a great idea once you're kind of checked in and settled in the hotel, head over to the convention center so you can, figure out what that walk is looking like and navigate that beforehand and then pick up your badge early as well. And be on the lookout. The PDT Know Before You Attend email will be sent on July 14th, and that will have a lot of additional event details and reminders in there. All right. And that is all I have for the lead/PDT. So does anyone have any questions about that?
Dana, there were a few people who asked questions about the CCR in the chat. I've shared my email with them. Happy to work with anyone on their chapter CCR. Dana and I are happy to set it up there. Just as a quick note to everybody, we're asking you to bring page 2 data and page 4 data. That's really what you've done so far and what you plan to do next year. That's a lot of what we're talking about at LEAD, and so that's really what we're looking for. You don't have to worry about any financial information on the page 3 side of it. So we're hoping as chapter leaders, you've known what you've done this previous part of the year because you've been a part of the chapter and been there. This is a chance to write that down and also plans for the future. So that's really why we're gearing it up to get us set for page 2 and 4. So happy to talk further about it. And again, it's just the data. It's okay if it's in a Word document. It's okay if it's in a crayon piece of paper that you brought with you on the plane. We don't care how you bring it because we're going to be talking about it. So however you bring that information is great. We'll talk about how we make it pretty in a formatting later on in the journey.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that. All right. Any last minute questions here? Okay, so like I said, I will of course send out this recording along with the slides, and then sometime next week, I will also send you like a quick reference guide that will include again the recording, the slides, what to bring, such as the CCR information, helpful links, etc. So you should have everything that you will need. We are Very excited. We cannot wait to see you in Arlington in 12 short days. So if you have any comments, questions, concerns after this meeting is over, please feel free to reach out to me. I am here to help. But other than that, that is all I have for today. Thank you very, very much. And I cannot wait to see you all. Yes, Sarah, agreed. We are looking forward to seeing you all and hearing your chapter's AGA story.